Hey everyone, Will here at the Ashland Fly Shop, and we are in mid-November, racing toward the holiday weekend. We're starting to get a fair amount of calls about fly fishing the area and just wanting to update everyone about what's happening. So we are still in late summer steelhead mode for sure. We have had still continue to have some very good fishing in the upper river. Some really nice fish being caught still. We're kind of continuing that thread of kind of larger fish that we're seeing at this time of year, and still nice and bright, some real nice bright fresh fish. So it's pretty great. We are definitely experiencing more weather this fall than we have for the past couple years. So it's really played havoc with the flows and the clarity. And we've had people bouncing all around from the Klamath to the Rogue and back, and trying to chase clarity and river flows. But it's really kind of come up and come back down pretty nicely. So right now it's about $1,000 coming out of the dam, which is unbeatable. It's very, very good. It's about 2,000 at Dodge. Had a nice spike yesterday, and the day before we had some a good rain event, and I'm sure it's down. I'm sure there's good clarity in there. It's a cold river now. It's kind of like pre-winter conditions, so it's cold water, it's cold weather. We're having our first real shot of cool weather here in the valley, and so nymphing is really going to be a great game plan if you like to get out and nymph fish. It's really going to find fish. Swinging still is a great way to go. We're just using our bigger tips, a little bit bigger flies. We talked about that last time, and that's really what you want to do to try and find these fish. You need to move to the fish and not expect them to move to you at this point. But man, it's really still game on. I do notice that as we get later in the season and we keep experiencing this precipitation that keeps the river levels up and keeps the tributaries open, typically what will happen is after one of these rain events, it'll just kind of be over as far as the fish. So the fish will go into the tribs and they'll just be vacant from the river. So I expect that to happen at some point. It might be earlier this year than typical. It could be more beginning December, mid-December, but we could go all the way into the first of the year like we typically do with our late summer steelhead fishing. So it's a bit of a toss-up, but the fishing's been good. I expect it to be good through the holiday weekend. And if you're in town or if you have some free time, you should definitely consider getting out and doing some fishing on the upper Rogue. Over the hill to the south, the Klamath, we really are pretty tuned into that river this time of year. We love fishing down there, and typically it's really kind of peak season down there. Klamath has definitely been suffering from low fish numbers, kind of like a lot of the West Coast has. And what they're really missing are kind of those smaller kind of half-pounder fish that we kind of rely on seeing down there this time of year. So we're really kind of missing those fish down there, but we are starting to see some of the larger adult fish show up, and kind of similar like we've had on the Rogue. We're seeing those kind of larger later adult fish. I have a feeling that we're going to see those fish down there, and I think I've seen a couple reports recently that kind of reflect that we might be seeing. Now typically we don't see a lot of those fish in the Klamath. So they're pretty spread out. So I wouldn't expect maybe a lot of consistent action, but I do think it's worth going and looking for maybe these larger adult fish that we find on the Klamath. We fish a lot around the I-5 area, as you can imagine. It's the easiest access. So and I've had a couple pretty good reports from down there lately. So we'll just keep you tuned into that. I think it's worth doing and worth considering fishing down there. And that's kind of the roundup that we have. That's the main thing that we're doing right now. We're keeping an eye on the coast for the beginning of the winter steelhead season down there, and a couple other things going on, but that's kind of dead center where we are right now. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and please call if you have any questions or need a real current update. Thanks.